Well, it's a beautiful day out here in the country. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Hope you're enjoying it wherever you are. Today we got a little subject that I really think you'll enjoy. It's about an article I read the other day, and I want to share it with you and also apply it spiritually. Have you ever been riding down the road with someone, or else maybe you've had someone tell you, keep your eyes on the road? Today, listen to this, as you're going to hear some things that maybe you had never really thought about before, physically, and then we're going to apply them spiritually as well. Please give it a listen. Thank you. Hey, I want to share with you today something from an article I read recently, and this comes from the National Highway of Traffic Safety Administrations. And the title is The Top 10 Distractions for Drivers. My wife has told me many times over the years, being a preacher, she said, I've noticed how a lot of things you will read, God will help you compare that spiritually as well as physically. And it is just one thing a lot of times God will do with me. He'll relate it to me from the physical side as well as the spiritual side. So I want to share this with you for a moment, as obviously we want us all to be stronger spiritually speaking with God in this hour. And we also want us to be stronger physically. And some of these things that I read on these top 10 things, I'll admit I'm guilty of. Actually, I guess I'm guilty of all of them in one way or another. But some things I wouldn't have really thought about. If you ask for the number one thing for a distraction for a driver, we would probably all get it right. Cell phones. The number one distraction, it said, more than a quarter of all crashes involved mobile device use. So that includes texting and driving, talking on the phone, looking down to answer or whatever. And really, it's something that is very dangerous. But again, I've been guilty of doing it myself. But after that, there's some of these things that it listed that I really would not have thought about. And I want to share with you just a few of them. Number two, it says, chatting with your fellow travelers will definitely affect your focus. And it said, so try to please ask your passengers to respect your role as the driver and help you concentrate. And actually, a lot of times when you're driving, I've noticed I can really do it well or not well, but I usually try to talk and drive looking ahead. But I've noticed sometimes I'll ride with people and it's like they want to look at you when they're talking, and it's like, no, look at the road. You want them, listen, focus on the road. You can talk to me, I can hear you, And, but that was listed as a number two. Number three, it said fiddling with the things such as your stereo or your radio or a CD can take your focus off the road. Reaching over to adjust, the channel, or maybe reaching down and trying to open a CD holder, can take your focus off the road. Again, I wouldn't have really thought about some of these things, but I've been guilty at one time or another of doing probably all of them. Number four, it said adjusting controls on things such as the air conditioner and defrost. Because again, a lot of times you know where they are, but you still want to look. You still want to look down and twist the knob to adjust the defrost. And what it's saying is all it takes is just a small distraction that can cause an accident that would harm you, people in the car with you, or maybe someone on an oncoming vehicle, or all of you. And so it says it does not take much. And like I said, I'm guilty on a lot of these things. Number five, it said, sometimes when running late, it said doing things such as applying makeup or checking yourself in the mirror. Did I shave good enough? Or maybe did you part your hair good enough? Looking in the rearview mirror to do it. It said can cause enough distraction that all it takes is one quick swerve and trying to swerve back. And again, you can be in an accident. And And like I said, how many times have you drove down the road and checked something out in the rearview mirror yourself? Whether it would be your hair parted or maybe are my sunglasses on right? How do I look with my sunglasses on? We've all been guilty of it, you know. But these are things that can take our eyes off the road. Again, I'm reading to you from a National Highway Traffic Safety article. Then number six gets me quite often, and like I said, I never really thought about it, but till I read this. Eating while driving. It said doing things such as opening a can of soda or reaching down to dig out a French fry, unwrapping a hamburger that's wrapped in the little foil. What about opening a candy bar, driving down the road, reaching over to get a cup of coffee out of your holder? Again, these are things we all do. But really, these things can cause accidents because most all of them involve us actually taking our eyes off the road to look down to do whatever it is we're going to do. So, you can see this. It's at number 7, external distractions. From billboards to pedestrians. How many times have you been driving down the road and maybe someone riding in there with you and you say, look at that person walking down the sidewalk over there. Boy, can you see what they're doing? Well, guess what? How would we know what they're doing if we didn't take our eyes off the road to look at them? Or what about, did you see that billboard up there? Did you see what that billboard said? Once again, we're taking our eyes off the road to look at these things. See, that's what I'm saying. We would have all took this, if it was a quiz, we would have all said cell phones and text messages, right? Texting and driving. But then there's so many of these other things that I hadn't really thought about. And like I said, I'm guilty of. So hopefully I'll try to do better myself, and we all can. It also lists, people that smoke. And it said one thing that is a distraction for them is rolling down the window to, maybe throw out the cigarette. Or it said while they are smoking, they're holding the cigarette, which occupies one hand, and you're driving a lot of times with the other hand, but then what if you need that second hand real quick? So it said that's another listed as one of their reasons how people do things that takes their eyes off the road. And then number 10, it's got daydreaming. It said not paying attention to the road is risky enough. But then sometimes we get going down the road, and especially, let's go back to the music. Let's say you're listening to a song or something, and you just get so caught up in it that sometimes before you know it, it could almost put you to sleep or get you daydreaming to where you take your eyes off the road. So while all of us would have named number 1, how many of us would have named reaching over to turn the air conditioner on? Or to adjust our defrost? Or looking in the rearview mirror to see how our sunglasses looked on our face? Or maybe to reaching over in the seat beside of us and pulling out that French fry. I know there's a French fry in that bag somewhere. And you're reaching and reaching and reaching and leaning over. And then gradually you just give a quick glance and pull back. It doesn't take much, does it? We want you, us all. We, me, we, you, all of us watching, to be safe. And we want us to leave our home and arrive back to our home safely. So I was reading that the other day, and I thought, I just want to share that on my channel, as these are distractions, and I want to try to learn from it and try to be better at it myself. Now, the spiritual aspect. As my wife said, a lot of times God can take something and show it to you spiritually. And it seemed like the Lord impressed upon me the passage out of Matthew where it said there's a straight and a narrow road and a broad road that leads to destruction. There's a straight and a narrow road that hopefully we're all on that leads to a better place. But the important thing is here, just like there's a list that I read to you today. There's so many things in our spiritual walk with God that can take our eyes off Christ, that can take our eyes off the spiritual highway. The important thing is sometimes it's the little things you got to realize. See, as I said a while ago, we would have named the number one thing. A lot of people would have named texting and driving. But how many people would have named reaching over into the bag trying to find that French fry? See, there's a lot of things spiritually speaking that we're talking about today. There's a lot of things spiritually that can take our eyes off Christ and can hinder our walk with God. A lot of the things that stand out, everyone would name. Every big sin, everyone would name. But what about the little things? What about some of the smaller things? Some of the smaller things that maybe aren't really sin, but they're just enough to distract us, to get our eyes off God, and can eventually lead to our downfall. Things that maybe nothing is wrong with, but the important thing is while we're traveling this road, see, you can enjoy them at their proper place. Today we brought home, we left to eat at Chick-fil-A, and we brought home food from Chick-fil-A. Guess what? When we got home, we could enjoy that food. See, there's a place, there's a time and a place. So a lot of things along this road of life, they're there for us to enjoy. And they're there, God put them there for us to enjoy. And we can enjoy them in their own place. But let's not let anything distract us from our walk with God. Let's not let anything distract us from the prize at the end of this road. Physically, as well as spiritually, we want to be safe. We want to physically arrive at our destination on the road. And this road of life spiritually, we want to arrive safely at the end of this spiritual road. The way we're going to do that physically is keeping our eyes on the highway, on what's ahead of us. Don't be really distracted by them signs going up and down the highway, the billboards. Don't be too busy looking at who's walking up and down the sidewalk. Oh, look what they're doing over there. Let's compare it spiritually. How many times have you heard saints of God, people of God, get distracted by what that person's doing over there? Oh, look at that person over there, what they're doing. Again, compare it spiritually, compare it physically. Driving down the road. Oh, look what that person's doing on the road over there on the sidewalk. Look what they're doing. Spiritually. Oh, look what that person is doing. And they think that that's okay, and I don't agree with that or whatever. Do you know what ends up happening? We end up taking our eyes off God. Here's the best way we can do. Let's just keep our eyes focused ahead. Don't worry about the person on that sidewalk physically or the person on that sidewalk spiritually. Let's just keep our eyes focused on Christ each and every day. Keep our eyes focused on God each and every day. Keep our eyes focused on doing the things that pleases Him each and every day. And then, just like we had that meal from Chick-fil-A, when we reached our destination, we pulled over, we got home, we eat that meal. All of these things on our spiritual road, God gives us to enjoy in its proper place. You'll be able to enjoy them. Let's just not get distracted on the highway of spiritual life. And the Bible said, looking unto Jesus, the author and the finisher of our faith. That's the way we're going to make it from this world to a better place, is keeping our eyes on Christ. Keeping our mind fed with the Word of God. Learning more about Christ each and every day. And that's what we want to try to do here, is to teach you and help you where we can all grow together and learn more about God. I hope you've enjoyed this little lesson today. And basically, again, we're talking about the highway of life, physically and spiritually. So please, like and subscribe to this channel, and share it with your friends. Leave a comment below. We read each and every one of them. Sometimes it takes me a little bit to get back to them, and one of these days I'll explain that to you. But still, we hope you enjoy this channel, the singing, the teaching, everything we do. And remember, God loves you, God bless you, and we'll catch you on the next video.